Hello and welcome to Big Performance Podcast. And I'm happy to see Mike Reed today as the guest. Hi, Mike.
Hello there.
You are a fascinating individual. For me, as a person who is quite far away from music and sounds, you are the expert in the field. And the tagline that I managed to find you on the internet would be Mike Reed Sound Bath. I'm like, wow, this is good. And that was, by the way, autocomplete in Google. So after I type Mike Reed, that would be uh, sound bad, which is very good from the SEO standpoint. You are all set. You have a brand.
That's right. Yeah. I've been working on this thing for the better part of a decade now, and it's grown in ways that I couldn't have even imagined when I first started. So it's been a beautiful journey with sound healing. I started out just doing one-on-one sessions for free in my house for friends and family, and then I started going out into the public with it, doing events, and then it started to just take a life on of its own, and all kinds of different portals of opportunity started opening up. And fast forward to now, I've done countless events for thousands and thousands of people. And I figured out this model of doing it where I get to impact and help a lot of people through what I do, and also make a pretty lucrative income from it as well. And then now I teach other sound healers around the world how to do the same using my model in SoundQuest Academy.
What kind of experiences pushed you to this route? You've been a musician, right?
I was a musician. I am a musician. But before sound healing, it was more being a musician in bands and performing for entertainment. And I didn't realize that sound and music and vibration can actually have a very profound healing effect, like on the physical body and on the mind. And that fascinated me. And that's what drew me into this work was using my musical skill and ability to play instruments, not just for entertainment, but to have some real impact on someone's health and wellness.
I am fascinated by this statement because it aligns to the border where we no longer super sure what is happening. So we are meant, we are set up to be very sure about some scientific stuff when it has been defined in science. And we start thinking that we know everything, but
Mm.
uh, there are the moments where we can feel the line where we don't know something, and music and healing thing for me is in that kind of realm. For example, I have gone to Pinterest, and Pinterest suggests that chakras all have frequency, and Pinterest knows 100% what frequency each chakra is. Would you say that healing properties is somewhere along those lines of chakras, or it is something else?
Yeah, chakras is something that I haven't really dived too deeply into. They're the energy centers. Traditionally speaking, there's seven chakras in the body, energy centers. There's like the lower chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye chakra, crown chakra. Um, and yeah, these are energy centers in the body that are responsible for different things and different emotional states. Um, but the way I look at sound healing is really simple, and it's more based on quantitative science, really. Of course, in those altered states of consciousness that sound healing um, causes, it changes your aperture of consciousness, so other phenomena can occur. But on a very purely basic scientific explanation is that these sound healing instruments that we work with, like gongs, crystal singing bowls, ocean drum, harmonium, these instruments, the intention is to emanate the full spectrum of sound and vibration all at once, particularly using instruments like the gongs, because the gongs, they can emanate the full spectrum of human hearing range, which is typically 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. And what that does is it starts to entrain the brain waves, the sound and the vibration, the frequency, emanate the full spectrum, which confuses the part of the mind that can hear me speaking right now, and it's making sense of my words and language and interpreting it
Hmm.
and making sense. um, that part of the mind is trying to grasp onto the full spectrum of sound, and so it can't figure out what it's hearing. It can't. It's overwhelmed by all the stimuli coming in, right? And so that part of the mind starts to just give up out of confusion, and then the encumbrances of that analytical thinking mind, which is when you're in your what's called the beta brainwave. That's your normal waking consciousness. It starts to slow down the brain waves and brings you down into what's called the theta brainwave, which is another way of saying meditation. And it can also bring you even lower, slower brain waves down to delta brainwave, which is sleeping. So you're kind of oscillating in a sound bath experience, but somewhere between meditation and sleeping. And that's when the body can go from the sympathetic side of the nervous system to the parasympathetic side of the nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is that side of the nervous system that allows you to rest, to fully relax. It's when you're not in that fight or flight mode. It's when you're not like highly alert and task orientated. It's when you're completely rested and completely relaxed. And then that's when the body returns to what's called homeostasis, self-healing, right? So this is
Correct.
how the body and the mind and the emotions can recalibrate and go through many different self-healing processes throughout a sound healing experience.
Amazing. I'm happy that you are on that side of the aisle. Uh, while you were talking, I really heard uh, the things that I know from the thing that I discovered. It was hemisync meditation sounds. It's a program where you are in headphones in a relaxed state, going into the meditative environment, and one of your headphones is playing one sound, and the other headphone plays another sound, and it as you said, tricks the brain
Yes.
into this sync, like altered state of conscious induced through this
Yeah, those are called
combination of sounds.
binaural beats or binaural frequencies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
fascinating.
Amazing.
And that's brainwave entrainment. That's pretty much what I was just describing.
What I also noticed would be when you just wake up, you can try and capture the feeling,
Mm,
this escaping relaxed state. You
mhm.
can spend some time in the meditation and go that far, or you can just wake up and try to not forget it, this relaxed state of the body, while the brain is like somewhere between dreaming and just being
Yes,
there.
right. Yeah, that early morning when you first wake up is a powerful time of the day. It's a real opportunity to, if you'd like to reprogram some things in your mind. That's when you do it, is in that state when you're in that kind of liminal state of between waking consciousness and sleeping. It's a time where I think Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about this, is like is to set your intention for the day at that time when you're just awake enough to know that you're awake, but not quite in full alert when the cortisol levels in your body like rise, and you're into like task mode, and you're into taking action mode, but it's before that. And that's a beautiful time to really rewire your neural pathways if you know certain ways of doing that.
One way that I have access to, and recently my wife told me that not all people have that, would be when I wake up and I remember a dream, I can finish watching the dream. If I don't get up, if I just lay there real quiet, not tilting my head or anything,
Don't
I
look at your
can,
phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I can finish the dream. So if I wake up and the dream has not been very pleasant, I'm like, do I want to start the day with the not so pleasant dream residue in my mind? I'm like, we better figure it out. And I kind of just lie there and go into the dream and finish the dream already how I would have wanted it to end up. So if it was a nightmare with a like scary creature pursuing me, I'm like, okay, chill. Now we take the creature and we go to get a coffee with the creature. The creature got a pancake with a heart symbol, and it's very fun to me. All right, let's get started with the day.
Interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that before. I know that when I first wake up and I've had a dream, like a very vivid dream, I try to lay there and catch the dream so I can I try to track, like, because you can easily forget what happened in your dreams. Um,
Mm, yeah, I
but
heard that
if you
is
just wake
from
up
this
and you
like.
start your day, the dream disintegrates in your memory, like, it just slips through the cracks of your memory. But if you lie
Yeah,
there and
it's crazy.
if you start to
There is one
recall.
trick. Sorry, there is one trick to recalling the dream bit by bit is when you start to write it down. When you
Mhm,
grasp one fact of the dream and you put it to paper or like dictate. I don't know. It kind of pulls the next small fact
mhm,
of the dream, and because everything is kind of connected inside the dream, it
mhm,
just drags the dream out of you line by line if you would
mhm.
be writing that. This podcast would not be possible without our business of selling website templates. We developed a bunch of them, 25. You can choose what website template and style works best for your business. Buy a template, populate it with your information and details at products and services, and you are all set, ready to go with Webflow powerful infrastructure. Websites would be fast, easy to manage, and work for any of your marketing needs. Would it be ads or sharing the link with your neighbor? Now, back to the episode. Crazy.
Right. What'd be a cool idea is if you tracked your dreams and wrote down as much as you possibly could about your dreams and kept like a dream journal, you know, whether that's like on your computer or maybe the notes in your phone, or like writing it out in like a physical journal. But then like putting all those notes into Chat GPT and telling AI to interpret your dreams for you, and see, like, tell prompt Chat GPT to be like uh, a professional dream interpreter, and then
Hmm.
interpret your dreams, and then you could have like your dreams basically reflected back to you and interpreted, and maybe it can tell you a lot about what's happening in your waking life, which is something really fascinating. I think people don't tap into that enough, because dreams are like messages from the subconscious mind, right? It's your subconscious mind. It's not going to just tell you what's up in the subconscious mind in just like the English language, right? It comes to you in like symbols and metaphors and that sort of thing, right? So if you track your dreams, you can really, it tells a big story about you know, what's really going on in your inner world. And I don't think people like consider that enough. I think that dreams can really be like a hack to getting more clear about who you are and where you're going in life.
That's interesting. Yesterday, I was watching a podcast where they were telling a story about how they were doing an MRI on the brain, and they noted the segments of the brain that have been active. And
Mm,
um, the participants of the experiment were tasked to solve a challenge, and the scientists saw how first the part of the brain that solves the thing is lighting up, and only after 8 seconds the part that is responsible for the language lights up, and only after that the person knew the answer. So first, the subconscious mind solves the issue, but you are not aware of it yet, and it only jumps out to your conscious level through the language. So when your brain took this 8 seconds to formulate this the solution into the words, only then you know. But dreams could be presenting this alternative way of communicating really with the subconscious through images or situations or the people that you are meeting in dreams.
right. Interesting. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Dreams, it's crazy how every single night we get these like cinematic adventures in our mind. Like, what is that? That's so crazy that that even happens.
Right.
And yeah, during a sound bath, I put people to sleep on a regular basis. So um, I'm sure that there's lots of dreams happening in at my events because I'm inducing that delta brainwave, like I spoke about. And I have to tell people before my events um, to watch out for the snoring. So like it's almost guaranteed that at my events someone's going to fall asleep and start snoring. So I have to tell the audience that okay, if the person next to you starts to snore, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to leave that up to you guys to manage. So if someone snores, you can poke them or nudge them or wiggle them or something. Yeah.
Good
So
thing that you do that you talk about that, because I
yeah.
think that there is one thing that people would be really scared of, that would be the guilt of falling asleep when you know that, oh, this guy is really trying good, and I like the sounds, but I'm
Mm,
falling asleep. I cannot do anything about it. And this
yeah.
guilt can ruin the experience for a person, really. If you don't
Yeah.
tell them it's all right, if you fall asleep, let it happen.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. I do cover that. It's like if you fall asleep, it's totally okay. But if you start to snore, don't be surprised if you receive a little bit of a, you know, just a gentle wake up, wiggle, nudge. Um, because everyone in the room will be happy. Because if someone falls asleep and starts snoring and no one's doing anything about it during a sound bath, and you have this interjecting snoring sound, coming through the space, it can throw off the whole experience. So I have to mention that and preemptively nip that in the bud before it happens.
As a sound expert, I like the idea that the gong produces all the spectrum of sounds, but I have a hunch that different genres of music produce different frequency of sound and like rhythms. Would you recommend a music genre to some people when you see that they might be really into that?
Yeah, absolutely. Music can evoke all kinds of emotions, right? Depending on what you're listening to. If you're listening to speed metal, it's gonna get you feeling like energized and maybe a little bit angry and full of adrenaline. But if you listen to Beethoven or Mozart, it might stimulate more brain activity and help you focus. If you listen to EDM, like house music, again, that's high frequency
Hmm.
music. That's why people dance to it. That's why they get, energized, and you know, you that's the kind of music they play at like Burning Man and raves and like those kinds of big festivals, and people are up all night, not able to sleep because of this high frequency music. Um, and then you could listen to like classical guitar music and um, all kinds of softer music, um, flute, those sorts of like slower, softer tones and frequencies can make you feel more at peace within yourself. And that's why there's a whole genre of meditation music and sleep music. And
Hmm.
yeah, there's music for every type of emotional state. The full spectrum of human emotions is represented through all kinds of different music.
I've had an interesting experiment. I was in Argentina and I had a lot of um, logical work in front of me. So where I wanted to be concentrated, I wanted to be real in tune to what I'm doing. And I thought, all right, music, powerful thing. So I called my grandma, who is a musician. I'm like, Grandma, please set me up with some classical tunes. Tell me just your favorite labels. And she's like, all right, Mozart, Beethoven, and the whole game. And I was doing a custom playlist on Spotify with all those guys. And I went through the whole thing and figured out I hate classical music. That was a simple explanation, but I thought that I am really slow, but by only catching it after 30, because I really hated the um, music education that was going into as a kid. And I
Mm,
didn't know why. I thought, well, maybe I'm just lazy. I don't like the music. Don't make me concentrate. So I
mm,
had then to tell my grandma that I really, really, really liked the guys, but I'm listening to white noise on the constant because this is the only sound that help me concentrate really. White noise, maybe light ocean waves sounds.
mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, that
Because
makes
like
sense.
the classical for me is distracting because they're like
Yes, too much
telling
going
you
on.
a story. Yeah, different
Yeah,
instruments and different moods that they're trying to combine. And I'm
I
like,
totally
I
get
don't
that.
want to combine any moods. I want just a wave that helps
Yeah,
me like be in the correct state.
makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's same for me, like listening to any music with lyrics, like someone singing words, like I can't concentrate when there's that kind of music happening. It's just too
Mm.
distracting with lyrics. Even yeah, too much going on. Same thing, classical music or complex songs with guitar or anything like that. I agree with you. If it's time to focus and study, it's either for me total silence or yeah, like white noise or brown noise. You can listen to tracks on YouTube or Spotify, put your headphones in and hunker down and focus. That's probably the most ideal thing to listen to if you're going to listen to anything, especially if you're trying to focus in like a coffee shop or some place where there's other people around, like an open concept office or something like that. Just put in your headphones, listen to that white noise, and drown it all out, and you'll be able to seriously focus.
The last time that I tried to do something like that in a coffee shop, it was in Argentina. It was a coffee shop where people are speaking loudly, and so there is loud music. And
Mm.
my stupid brain thought, all right, I can watch my Netflix things. So I was in headphones and I was trying to do a few episodes of the show. And I found myself having a panic attack in a coffee shop, basically, because was overwhelmed by a lot of people talking and the music and the episodes that I'm trying to watch. It was crazy. I had to run from there.
Wow.
I didn't know that they would adjust the volume of music to the volume of people talking. I thought that they would know the comfortable volume of music that is good for their place. They know
Mhm.
the size of the place, then they know the music setup that they have. And I thought the volume of music would be tuned for the environment, like the
Right.
place. No, it is tuned for the environment of people. How loud the people are, they just push the music harder. It's crazy.
That must have gotten real loud in there then,
True,
because
true.
they're competing against each other. The people will keep talking louder as the music gets louder, and then the people start talking louder, and then they turn the music up even more. So it's just can get super cranked up and loud in there. So I don't know what they're thinking.
I suppose that people also compete. People like feeling heard, even if you're talking to a colleague on a small in a small table, and there are people around. You would get a little bit louder than your colleague needs to hear you, because you just want a little bit that other people hear you as well, because you have nice things to say.
Mhm. Right. So, yeah, you have a fascination with music and sound. Tell me more about what compelled you to want to have a conversation today.
Well, I do have a singing bowl,
Oh, you do?
and yeah, yeah, I just picked it up for how it sounds. I don't feel the vibration uh, too much, but so I
Is it a
have
Tibetan singing bowl or is it a crystal singing bowl?
well, it's metal. This thing
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
that
Okay, so
the
Tibet.
correct one, and
Do
they
you want to
got
play
me a
it
wood.
for a second? Let us hear how it sounds. Try using
I
the
forgot.
other wood
Uh
one. If you're gonna go around in a circle like that,
huh.
yeah, that's the one you want to do that with. There you go.
All
You'll
right,
get that.
it gets going.
You'll get it going that way. With the felt tip one, that's the one for striking it gently on, just tapping the
Hmm.
side, right? There you go.
The history how I got it was quite fun. We went to Chiang Mai, and they
Mhm,
have a temple really uh, way up on the mountain, and it's super beautiful. And in the souvenir shops, they have those things.
mhm. Yep.
I
I'm
can
sure, yeah,
I
they have a lot of that out in Southeast Asia, Thailand, and yeah, it's close to Tibet somewhat. It's all
Yeah,
down there.
but they don't give the instruction. The thing
Mhm.
that I figured out, I cannot meditate and play this thing at the same time. I'm like, all right, so
Yeah,
this is the first. But
mhm.
they never gave the instruction. They thought that I am supposed to know what to do with it.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you can use it to sort of prompt yourself to come back to the present moment and then go back into your meditation. If you're sitting there, say, sitting in front of a Tibetan bowl or singing bowl, um, you can just say, like, say your mind starts to wander off and starts to, override the meditation. You can just give yourself sort of a way to come back to the present moment here and now by tapping the bowl and giving yourself that resonance and entrainment to the bowl, and then go back into your meditation. But these instruments are, yeah, they're not necessarily for self meditation. They're to a lot of the time to help others find that place of meditation while you are the facilitator playing the instrument. Oh, my apologies.
I have watched one of your videos, and the instrument that really got me excited was this uh, huge plate with something inside of it. So it's like double-sided drum with
Yes,
some things that are rolling in there. What is
that's
that?
called an ocean drum. Yeah, yeah, that's a double-headed drum. With Mine has wooden beads inside. Some of them come with metallic beads, but the intention is to just gently tilt it back and forth so that the beads roll around inside, and it sounds like gentle waves crashing up on a beach, like the ocean, the waves of the ocean coming in and out from the beach, or just crashing waves. Um, and it's a beautiful instrument. It's actually the instrument that people comment on the most after my sound bath events. They come up to me afterwards and they say, "What was that sound that sounded like the ocean? That was beautiful." And yeah, that's the ocean drum. And funny enough, you mentioned it, just like so many others do.
Hmm.
Did you watch the sound bath? Are you referring to the one on YouTube? My YouTube channel,
Yeah,
Sound
yeah.
Academy
It was
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a 50-minute pre-recorded sound bath on there that people can listen to. It's at SoundQuest Academy YouTube, and yeah, that's how I start that video, is just with the ocean drum. Mhm.
Can you tell me a little more about those like three parameters? Uh, Mind, body, and emotion. What In what combination those three are influenced by sound bath?
Well, I think it starts with the mind, right?
Hmm.
Um, when the mind is calm, uh, it trickles down into the body, right? And then when the body's calm, your physiology kind of determines what your emotional state is, right? So if you can calm the mind through the full spectrum of sound, bringing the mind to a place of stillness and peace, then you'll start to feel a sensation throughout the body of deep relaxation, which will recalibrate your whole emotional body and your emotional state, right? So they're all connected.
I love that you put emotion behind the physical after the mind. That's interesting to me.
I mean,
Indeed, like you can influence your emotions by working with the body. If you are like low energy and you
yes,
don't have what it takes to do this stuff, you can do a push up, and then
yeah,
magically you have some strength.
you have some energy all of a sudden when you start moving your body. Absolutely. I did 6 days with Tony Robbins a few years ago. I don't know if you know what Tony Robbins is, but he's one of the world's biggest life coaches, really. I mean,
And like biggest energy supply in a human being.
yeah, he's it was wild. I mean, we did 16 hours a day with him, and normally I don't have that kind of energy, but he taught me that energy comes from your physiology and your emotions come from physiology as well. So if you can change your body's um, motion, motion is energy in motion. Like emotion is energy in motion, right? So, um, yeah, when we were moving our bodies, every once in a while we'd have to get up and just start dancing, to like loud music,
Hmm.
and then sit back down and then listen again and take notes. And I think it was just that, like every 25 to 40 minutes, we'd get up and have a big dance party and then sit back down again and focus. And it was very effective in terms of like feeling good, feeling energized, and able to focus. So I think that's maybe something that people can do like on their day-to-day basis. If you're sitting at a desk all day working or looking at a computer, just allow yourself to get up and move around. I have a rebounder, meaning like a mini trampoline. And when I'm
Mm.
feeling like I've sat for too long, maybe like every 45 minutes or so, I go outside and jump up and down on my rebounder, and I come back and sit down, and all of a sudden I have energy and focus again. You know, it's better than coffee, in my opinion.
Definitely.
Hmm. And sometimes I like to combine my events. I've collaborated with other people with ecstatic dance and sound healing. So I've also done like a rave party. It was wild. One time, uh, I was hired to come in and do a sound bath at the end of the night after like DJs were playing and people were dancing and like raging hard. And I was looking at this room where people were just jumping up and down, dancing to this like, like high frequency EDM music. And I was like, how am I going to pull this off? Like, how am I going to get these people to calm down and lie down and rest after this is what they're doing? But it actually turned out to be a really beautiful night, at the end. And it was a great way to end the party too. Get everyone nice and calm down, still, and then, you know, exit the party from there. So, um, yeah, movement and sound healing can be a great combination if done in a certain way at the same event.
I am fascinated. I did feel a kind of let down in a rave room when they just get the lights up, they lower the music to minimal, and I'm like, okay, that's it. They then don't want us here anymore, and that's it. It's kind of like steep cliff to fall at. You've been
Mhm.
having fun, and now it's how was the audience in the room that you went to with sound bath after the EDM music? What
They
was
loved it. I
happening?
mean, there were some people that were like on probably some substances that made it hard for them to relax, if you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Um, so, for those people, I think it was hard for them to like lie down and just like be calm in the mind and the body because their nervous system had probably been jacked by, um, the things that people take at rave parties. But there was other people that just absolutely loved it, and they went right in, and then we were talking like it's a great way to get people to leave your party. So if you want people to like leave and not linger at your party all night and be up until 6 a.m. at your house or wherever the party is, have a sound bath at the end. It'll calm everyone right down, and then they'll want to just go home and sleep. And I think we had everyone out of the house by like midnight or 1 a.m.
Crazy.
Yeah.
1 a.m. they were out.
Yeah. Whereas if they didn't have a sound bath, they might have just kept going all night, right? Like till the
Hmm.
break of dawn, so they say.
I'm thinking how much do we need to invest into resetting the into the recreation, because there are a lot of views a lot of ways for us to get hyped up. I can drink a coffee, I can open my phone, I can see the message from the landlord, and like infinite amount of things that make me stressed, that make
Mm,
me energized. But for getting to sleep, getting some rest, we are like, I don't feel like it. I want to party. After all the
mhm,
stress I went through, I want something, some adventures, some energetic stuff all the time.
mhm.
And we do not go into this like resting phases efficiently, I think.
Agreed. Yeah, a lot of people are walking around with a jacked nervous system that they don't know how to do these practices like meditation, rest. I think a good place to start is yoga. If you have a yoga practice, because you get that movement in, but then you go into the shavasana, which is the corpse pose, the lying down, deep rest at the end of a yoga sequence of movements, right? And that's where I first started tapping into the power of meditation. It was in those shavasana experiences, that deep rest, and it's like a drug. It's like a wonder drug, because you get the exercise, you get the blood flowing, you get the breath, and then you get that deep, deep rest in shavasana at the end of a yoga class. So yoga is great, but yeah, carving out time every day, making it a habit to really tune inwards, because like what I say is the roots become the fruits, right? So when you're working on your inner world, it's reflected in your outer world. So your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So when you have these practices like meditation, um, and if you have a hard time meditating, go to a sound bath, because a sound bath will help you understand what meditation is, right? It's almost like an involuntary meditation that you don't even have to try. It does it. It kind of does it for you because of the full spectrum of sound and frequency slowing down the brain waves. So, carving out that time as often as you can, I think, is a really good practice. So that way you don't go through your days being reactive to the external world around you all the time, right? There's a little bit more
Mm-hmm.
space between you and what would normally be a stressful stimuli, whether that's traffic, an unexpected surprise, or an email that you don't want to deal with, or relationship dynamics, anything like that that would trigger you normally. If you've practiced meditation that day, then you just have like a bit of ease and grace in your whole way of being that allows for more flow to occur throughout the day and in your life.
Reacting to external stimuli,
Yeah.
definitely what I have seen happening around me and with me as well, because with the addiction to socials, so social
Mm,
media, scrolling, tapping,
big
this
one for
is
a lot
like
of people.
pleasure, and my
Cheap.
mood would be based on what content I am consuming. And even after giving that up, sometimes I found myself uh, reacting to external stimuli internally. Uh,
Mhm.
like this external stimuli would go from inside myself. So I get a thought and I act on it straight away without evaluating, would this thought give me more good or more bad things? I just like, you are the first one in. So you are the thought that I give my full attention to,
Mm,
without the regard for like, are you doing good? One of the good thoughts? No, it is one of the stressful thoughts, but I will take it and I will run with it.
right.
Is it
Yeah.
is that still
That's
external
that's
or
another
internal?
benefit of a benefit of meditation is it gives you that space to like think before you just spontaneously react, or yeah, like instead of being impulsive, you just have like this um, calm energy that allows you to sort of like have a little bit more space before you just spontaneously or um, you have these compulsions or you have these impulses that just maybe that you haven't thought them through thoroughly, and then you just do something and then you say, oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that, maybe I should have thought that through a little bit more, and now I'm
Hmm.
stuck in my mistake that I just made. Whoops. So um, if you have a little bit more space in your mind, and your mind is not like fully jumbled up with like, you're looking at TikTok, then you're looking at Instagram, then you're sending an email, then you're checking your stocks, and then you're checking the weather, and then you're texting someone on WhatsApp, then you're texting someone on Signal, and then you're watching a YouTube video. Like this little rectangle that we all have in our pockets is like scrambling our brains. And so now
Yeah,
more than ever, it's so important to have some kind of um, have some sort of meditation practice that clears the mind, like cleanses the mind. And meditation doesn't have to be something where you just sit there and try to meditate in lotus position when cross-legged. Like I get meditation and a cleansing of the mind through exercise. Like I was saying, yoga or jujitsu is a really good one for me, because when you're doing these activities, there's nothing else on your mind. You can't think about anything else other than here and now. And so it's like an active meditation, which is something that I love to do. I love exercise for that reason. Anything that makes me focus in, or playing music. Playing music is another form of active meditation for me. When I'm playing guitar, I'm really in the zone, in the real present moment. When I'm singing and playing guitar,
you
it's
seem
just
to enjoy flow states because,
yeah. I,
as
I
far as
like
I understand,
I call them like a mind cleanse, right?
mhm,
Yeah.
when you're like in the zone with the martial arts or
Mhm.
training or playing music, it's like in the flow. Because if you are not there with your jiu-jitsu partner right now, and if you are not in the process completely, your performance will suffer.
Yes.
You will not be as good. You will not be mm, even as good of a partner for the person in front of you if you are
Mhm.
not there. Same with music, because you would hear it, people that would hear it if you are
Mhm.
not 100% there. Very exciting topic. With the What is the correlation of mind clarity and pumping blood? You have the small trampoline, rebounder, which
Mhm.
is acting upon your leg muscle to kind of pump the blood around the body. And
Yeah, it's
this,
also good for lymphatic drainage. It's like good for lymphatic cleansing and drainage and flow. And
mhm.
yeah, it's energizing. It's energizing. I feel energized after 10 minutes rebounding.
And um, the story that you told about how you got into all this stuff after an intense yoga workout, you lie down and enjoy the benefits, that I would say,
Yeah,
of the uh, nice blood circulation and your brain fully having all the oxygen in it might require, and you can
yeah.
go and meditate.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's amazing. It's outstanding. I think, the yoga has been a practice for thousands of years, and they really have figured out a technology. They figured out how the chemicals in the body and the blood flows, and the how it works on the mind and the emotions, because when you get after, a hatha yoga class, like the all the movements where you're inverted, your hands are up high, the blood is flowing out of the extremities, the legs are up over the head, you're stretching the muscles, moving, like expanding the fascia in the body, and all of these things combined, it's some kind of it releases some kind of chemical in the mind and the emotions, and at the end, I just feel connected to God, or connected to some kind of, like, great spirit, or I feel like I'm very connected at the end of yoga movements. And yeah, that's why yoga people are so nice, is because they achieve that state all the time, on a regular basis. So yoga people are some of the most friendly people you'll ever meet,
And I
because
guess
they're,
also detoxified, because like physical
yeah,
activity helps you relieve the stress.
yeah,
So if you have a yoga practice, you might not be as toxic as other people.
that's right. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, it's like some kind of wonder drug, all of this. And that's why I work with yoga studios. Like, the where I host my sound bath events is mostly yoga studios, because not only do they have the physical space that's conducive to, a lot of people lying down in the same space, but they also come with a community of people that are open and aware of the benefits of meditation, the benefits of sound healing. It's a really good synergy working with yoga studios for what I do with my events.
One thing that got me interested is the idea of us as people not having enough time to wind down. So when you were talking about the social media and like looking at phone, looking at bank app, then talking to a colleague, and all like right after another,
Mm,
I heard a interesting idea that got me going about us not built yet for this kind of intensity.
yeah.
Our intensity is more like I am walking for half an hour to reach the creek of the river. Then I fish for 2 hours. Sometimes
Hmm.
I catch fish, sometimes I don't. And then I walk home for half an hour more, and it gives me like spaces of time for my mind to like work out everything that has happened. I can think
Hmm.
about the lure that I used, or the particular type of fish I was going after. For like half an hour, I can think just about that. And it would be the scenario where my brain can fully work it out. But if the amount of information I'm getting in, and the frequency of how fast I consume the media is super high, my brain virtually has no capacity of work through this like dense, dense
Yeah,
thing.
it's some people are reporting, like TikTok is one of the most popular apps for social media now, right? And it's like
Yeah.
these little short, little 1 minute videos or less, 30-second videos. Um, and people are just scrolling for hours a day on this app, just getting these little dopamine hits and getting these little short bursts of, like, focusing on this video, and then on to the next video, and on to the next video, and so on. And so I've heard that people can barely even sit through a 2-hour movie nowadays because it's too slow to just watch like a TV show or a movie, right? Let alone focus on, like, developing a skill, like, or, reading a book or anything like that. That's like, you know, becoming impossible for a lot of people these days,
Yeah,
right?
books are the worst.
Because people's attention span is like getting shorter and shorter and shorter, because we're getting so used to this. constant stimuli from our phones and technology.
From the perspective of the user, when I compare like my phone to a book, I am always frustrated because I know that this book will contain up to 10 good ideas. That's it.
Mhm.
And there is like quite a way I need to read and sort through, and there would be 10 nice ideas. I can do 10 nice ideas in 2 minutes by scrolling YouTube shorts easily.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
any subject, on any topic. I
Mhm.
can get the 10 ideas from this book on YouTube super fast.
Or
Like
yeah, I
there
mean,
would
what's
be a
better?
person who did it for me.
Is it a bad thing? Like, that's something to contemplate. Like, is it a bad thing that we can just like type into Chat GPT, give me the main outline of this book, and you can get, the whole book into your brain by just reading like a quick summary of the main points made by that book. And maybe we can like upload information into our minds more efficiently now with technology, rather than sitting there spending, you know 12 hours in total trying to read like a 300-page book. Right, you can have that 300 pages condensed into, a few paragraphs. Right. Or is sitting there concentrating on the book more impactful? Will it sink into your mind on a deeper level if you actually take the time to read a full book rather than just the notes about that book?
Where I think it's not really about efficiency, because our brain is not efficient. Yes,
Mm,
I can like put everything in there, but my thoughts are more about what will stick.
mm,
I know that those like 10 nice ideas, maybe three will stick at most. So
mhm.
what does it say? Three phrases from each book have a potential to stick. But then I thought about all the nice books that I already read, already have in my brain hypothetically, and I don't remember them. I don't remember nice ideas from them. But if I read them again, I will get a set of new three ideas that I never had from this same book. But I had more experiences. I had new scenarios in my life that I wanted to debug. And exposure to this book got me the nice ideas that I would value. So I'm thinking about about the exposure. Like if you need more nice ideas, you cannot read them all in advance. You have to have times when you expose yourself to nice ideas. For example, you can read half an hour a day. That is like plenty. That is huge amount of reading that will fuel creativity or inflow of new ideas. But you
Mhm.
cannot do uh, 16 hours of reading and then don't read for a month, because it would not be the same. So it's like pacing. And
Right. Staying
also,
consistent.
yeah, and also your thoughts are not tuned to the book. Your thoughts are only tuned to you, and the things that are happening in your life, for example, could benefit from you reading half an hour a day of like mindfulness literature that says, oh, be grateful.
Right.
Basically, there are things that you can read every day, and every day they would be improved by getting some things like, oh, gratitude, very nice, my life improved for today. But I don't think that having this super easy access to anything in the world, in the creative output of video production teams, is good, because if you can put a huge story into 20 seconds of TikTok, it will do good. But would it be objective good, or just good of numbers people engaged for a second?
Right. Yeah, and will it sink into the mind? Will it stick, or will it just be forgotten? That's the question.
Mike, where are you uh, operating? Do you travel for work, or you are mm, doing local, like, business development where all the yoga studios know you and refer to you, or you do a kind of tour around the place?
Yeah, yeah, I'm always on an ongoing circuit of events in different locations. I usually set up my events to be monthly at each location. So within the region where I live is like my regular circuit of events. I live here in Vancouver, Canada, and all throughout the surrounding region, I'm always on kind of an ongoing circuit. So I have about 12 different locations that I visit regularly and do a session at each location about once a month. And then usually in the summer, I'll go on like a tour for like a month out of town, different parts of the country, different parts of, yeah. And I'm planning a US tour uh, coming up probably next year. And then other than that, I just teach online with my academy. I teach sound healers around the world how to create financial abundance through sound healing and set up a system and help a lot of people through sound healing. So those are the two sides of my business, which is my ongoing circuit of in-person events, uh, and I also do collaborative events and corporate events, private bookings, um, and that sort of thing. And then I teach online.
What's your demography in Canada? Would those be the yoga studios? Do more women go to the yoga
Yeah,
studios, or it's like an equal?
my
What's the mix?
demographic is like 80% women, most of which are around the age of 30 to 45, 50. Between 30 and 50 is typically the demographic of the attendees at my events.
Do you have people that follow you from one studio for the other studio? I'm
Yeah.
wondering, how do you get this, like, for people that are meeting you, they have seen you a month ago,
Mhm.
but you have had a similar event just recently. So you need to bring new energy uh, every time with you.
Yeah, I do something a little different every time. It depends on what I'm intuitively feeling into. But I have some, templates that I follow that I've developed in terms of what's effective. I always bring in a 90-minute experience. It's always 90 minutes. But I start usually saying what's on my mind, or I call in something that I've been reading about or pondering, some philosophy or religious or spiritual kind of development or teachings that I've acquired recently. Um, and then maybe I'll bring in some breath work to get people ready to receive, do some body scanning, hypnosis type techniques to drop people in deep into relaxation before I start the sound. And lately, I've been ending my events with a bit of a performance, bringing my guitar and I'll play a song or two and sing a song for the group. So it just varies. It's different every time. Um, and I like to bring in new elements to the experience. um, I pull in different influences based on what I have training in and what I've been studying or reading about. Um, and I channel it all through my events. It comes through the experience. I just kind of opened up my own medicine bag for the people that come to my experiences and my events.
You you seem to be fueled by the archetype of shaman, and what you're saying sound to me as shamanic experiences, because you are the guide, the person who leads people through the experience. How how did you find this like role in yourself to guide people?
I didn't know I was capable of it until I was, encouraged by um, a teacher of mine, um, who I did a shamanic apprenticeship with for 3 years. So I did a 3 year deep dive study into shamanism. Um, Her name is Little Bird, Angela Pryder, and she taught me a tremendous amount about holding space, about dropping people in, to sort of widen their aperture of consciousness. And through all that experience, I learned, yeah, how to hold the space. And I carry that into my sessions and my events. I would never call myself a shaman, um, but I feel like there is something intuitively there that I have a connection to. It's hard to really explain unless you've been in the room.
I think the other thing that tries to approach the definition of a shaman would be the phrase a wounded healer. So
Yes.
you are basically guiding people through the thing that you went through. And
Mhm.
this is very shamanic. Like, I have been there, I have felt what you're feeling, and I can show.
Yes.
It's like, I cannot give it to you, but I can direct you.
Exactly. Yeah, you have it. You articulated that very well. Yeah, it's. I think through my own process of pain and healing that pain, and through that trauma and all those things that I've experienced in the past, um, it made me understand the need for others to experience the same type of healing. But I'm not the one healing them. I am not healing people. I'm providing the space for them to heal themselves. Right. I'm giving them an opportunity, a glimpse at the potential for them to heal on their own, to find their own self healing.
I think that that is an amazing role, and
Mm.
you are lucky to have it.
I feel lucky every day. Yeah. Yeah. I feel blessed. It's, sometimes I can't believe this is how I'm making a living. It doesn't feel like work. It feels more like an adventure, like play. And so it's 1,000 times better than any job that I've ever had in the past in terms of employment. I'm just on this kind of on a mission that feels good. It's the first thing I've ever done for work where people are lining up to thank me afterwards. That feels really good. It's enriching to, people coming up to me like, wow, that really touched me. That really had a profound impact on me. You know, Someone, yeah, just today messaged me and said how their father just passed away, um, the day before they came to my event, and they, instead of canceling and not coming, they decided to come to my event, and they said it was the best thing that they could have done because it gave them that space to really feel into their emotions around that, feeling into the grief, feeling into what was present rather than distracting away from it. And therefore, they were able to process a lot. And so, getting messages like that on a regular basis, it just warms my heart and continues to keep me motivated and keep me on the quest and keep me doing what I do.
Amazing.
Mm.
I'm super happy about this conversation. Thank you so much, Mike. You
Yeah,
are
thanks for having
a
me on.
generous person and the artistic one as well, and this is like brilliant combination.
Love it. Well, appreciate you too, brother, and keep doing what you're doing with your podcast. And I'm excited to see how things unfold for you as well.
Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.